Hey everyone, I'm Chris and welcome back to the channel CP's Whiskey Creek in nscale. In this video I'm going to share all the rail related things that I've been up to throughout the months of September and October, so let's get started. I actually didn't get as much done as I wanted to on the layout, and that's thanks to this little guy. Since we got back from Europe, he's had a ton of health issues, and thankfully he's on the mend now, but it took a lot of time and money to help him along, and that resulted in working quite a few extra shifts to try to help cover it all. But I did start September with some rail fanning out in Hagersville, and that was followed by attending Hagersville's 150th event, celebrating their history of the railroads, and they had quite the display set out of different historical items. And then that finally led to a visit of the Burlington Club. So if you're not familiar with them, they have a very impressive garden layout outside, and then on the inside they have an HL layout as well as an nscale layout.
I don't know, he did the woodwork.
The next day was the St. Thomas train show. The show itself was fairly boring, and I was actually more interested in all the one-to-one scale stuff that they have both inside as well as out. I also used that time to stop into Otter Valley Railroad and pick up a new trash gondola. I also bought used, not from them, but from a Facebook Marketplace, a new-to-me locomotive. I thought it was DC and I was just going to have to get a decoder for it, but it turned out not so much. Unfortunately, a modeler had passed away and his family was clearing out some of his stuff. One thing I did actually finish and submit was my Mini Prints Peanut Butter Lid Challenge. I didn't win, but I used this as an opportunity to develop a future area for the layout. My work had me go away for a week up to Gravenhurst, and while I wasn't able to catch any of the trains, though I kept hearing them at night, I did have an opportunity to visit the local station that they have. It's not being used as a train station anymore, but hopefully with the Ontario Northland returning, maybe there's hope for it one day in the future. I also had an opportunity to stop by the t-trak in Muskoka B&B Caboose. Again, I didn't get a chance to actually stay there, but maybe that day will come. I did spend a day visiting the Homes Layout Tour, but I already made a video for that, so you can click on that one here. I did get a chance to spend the afternoon with Denny from nscale Dystopia, and we went out rail fanning just west of Paris on the CN main line. We were able to catch a couple of the new Via consists as well as some CN action. As for the layout, the work that I was able to get done wasn't directly on the layout itself, but kind of in and around it. This display case is something that holds my scale plastic models, and I wanted to move it since it blocks some of the light and is too low for a planned backdrop. So I got this IKEA display case, which didn't have enough shelves, so I got some of these wire rope clips, and what I did is I added those onto the display case onto the IKEA one, and then I got a local glass shop to cut up new shelves for me to add in there. So now I was able to double the capacity of my new display case here. So with all the new shelves placed inside, then I was able to put in all the scale models into here, and that allowed me to be able to take down the old display case and open up that part of the wall. With the display case gone, next up was removing the mountain range. There aren't really any mountain ranges in southern Ontario, and no, the one in Hamilton doesn't count. That's not a real mountain. But anyways, there's not any mountain ranges, so I decided to take off all the trees and remove the foam mountain range that I had set up before and cut that down, so then basically it's going to become more of a rolling hill feature. With it shaped into a more of a hill feature as opposed to the mountain range that it was before, I was able to glue it back into place and weigh it down with a bunch of weights, so then it was ready for continued painting and landscaping that will come at a later time. So all this preparatory work led to this, and the goal was to be able to put up a new backdrop for this section of the layout. So this is a hardboard that I screwed directly into the studs, filled it in with some spackling, and then painted it with the same color that it was used in the belt line. Now since that's done, then I can move on to some of the other stuff in this area that you'll see in the coming months. So there's a little rundown of what I've been up to for September into October. Like I said, not a lot on the layout, and definitely not directly on the layout, but I found that one thing would hold me up because I needed to do another thing, and then I couldn't do this thing until I did another thing, and a lot of this was hinging on the backdrop. So now since that is completed and in place, then I can now sort of move on to other landscaping and scenery items in and around the distillery, and really leading into the town because the backdrop covers all the way from along that entire wall. So I'm glad that I was able to finally get it done, and I really had to sort of embrace the idea of little bits at a time instead of trying to dedicate an entire day to work on this or a whole afternoon to work on that. Little bits here and there, and I was able to finally get it done. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.